Hello everyone, I want to be showing you how to cut a pencil skirt pattern. Here is the front, back, and then we have the zip allowance for the back pattern. So I'm going to be showing you how to cut this. And the measurements required, already you can see I've already drawn the pattern, but I'm going to be illustrating to you how I got all the curves and all of that. And the measurements required, we're going to be taking our waist, hip line, and then the skirt length. And for today we're going to be using 28 for our waist, 35 for our hip, and the skirt length is going to be 24. Then our calculations for our waist, we're going to say our waist measurement divided by 4 plus our dart, which is 1, and plus our sewing allowance, which is 1. So 28 divided by 4 plus 1 and plus 1, which makes it 9 inches. And for our hip measurement, which is 35 divided by 4, that is 8.75. And for our sewing allowance, which is 1 inch, that's 9.75. Then our hip length, for our hip length is going to be 8. Then our skirt length is going to be 24. So let's get started. First, I'm going to show you how I got my top line. This is called the top line. Here is called the zip line. Then this is the front basic body skirt pattern, basic skirt pattern, and this is the back basic skirt pattern. So when you get your paper, for you to get an equal half, you fold your paper into two, just like this. You're going to press here so well. Then when you turn it open, you're going to trace the line you've got here, and that's how I got my center line here. Then you get your tape rule, you measure 1 inch, and do the same here and here. You use a long ruler to connect the lines together. Then for the back, you're going to map out your zip allowance, just like I wrote it out here. I used 2 inches for my zip allowance. Here is it. I measured it like this. I also did it like this. I took it down and I used a straight long ruler to connect it. But here I have a short ruler, so I had to do it at shorter pace. Okay, then now let's move over to the front basic skirt pattern. For the front skirt pattern, we're going to start with our hip measurements. We're going to get our length. Here is our top line, and this is our waist. So we're going to get our hip line, which I told you it's going to be 8. I'm going to be using 8 for today's class. So this is 8. So I marked it here. I took it down here as well. I marked it here, and I also took it here, and I also marked it here. That's 8. Then for the skirt length, I also did something like this. I took it from the top line, which is the waist, and I took it down and I marked my 24. I also did same here and down to the end here. Don't forget, these are zip allowance, so we don't even need to take anything for this place. So you can see it's also 24. Then I used the straight line to connect it. And then for our hip, like I told you, it's 8, and I connected it. So that is that for that. And then we're going to get our hip measurement, which is 9.75. We're going to be taking it like this, our 9.75. We're going to take it from here, from the center line. This is the center line. From the center line, we're going to mark out 9.75, and these are 9.75. I marked it out here, and our 9.75. We're also going to take it out on the hip. I also marked it out here, and we're going to take it down here, our 9.75. I also marked it out here. Then for the back, how we're going to take the 9.75, we're going to start from here, because for the back, this automatically becomes our center line. We're not going to take it from here. We're going to take it from here. So we're going to do something like this. To take our 9.75, this is our 9.75 right here, and just like this, and we take it down to get our 9.75 down to this place. Then you use a straight long ruler to connect it. Then when we take your 9.75, now you're going to calculate our waist measurement. And what are we supposed to use for our waist measurement? Like I told you, it's supposed to be 9. And for the waist measurement, I got it like this. This is my waist measurement. I marked it out here 9, and for here as well, my waist measurement as well here is 9. So from here 9, then I marked out also my dots for the front. Don't forget, for the front and the back, I'm going to mark out my dot. And my, how did I get my dot? I got my dot by saying my waist measurement, which is 28 divided by 8, and that's how I got my 3.5. So my dot, I'm going to be using 3.5 for today's class. Sometimes you can say bust point, you can use your bust points to get your dot. So here is my dot point, and then you know, I took 1 inch for my dot, so I took an inch for my dot. So that's why I'm going to come here and I will say a 0.5 here as well, 0.5 here also. I'm going to get my 3.5, which is my dot line. Here's my 3.5 for my dot line. Then here's the 0.5. Here is another 0.5. That's how I got my dot. So you're also going to come to the hip line and also get your 3.5, just like this, and also come here and also construct. You can see I'm doing the both at the same time, so you can do the front and the back patterns even together. So you're going to connect the middle line, which is your 3.5. Just to be sure, you're going to place it again and make sure that yes, this is the one you're going to connect it to. You're going to connect it like this, and you're also going to take here and connect it this way. That's to get your dot line. Then to connect it, you're going to come up here and mark out 2 inches, and you're also going to do the same for the back. You're also going to come up here and mark out 2 inches up. You're going to mark out 2 inches up. Then you can take your ruler and connect your dots just like this and like this, and do the same for the back, just like this and like this. All right, now let's do the curve for the skirts over here. Then for the skirts, we're going to also use a curve ruler to make hair shapy, just like our waist. We're going to use our curve ruler to make hair shapy. But sometimes you can also tend to use your free hand just to curve out hair, just like this. But to get to where you're going to, here I marked out from the hip line. These are hip line, and from the hip line on the at the other side, you're going to mark out 1 inch. You're going to mark out 1 inch, just like this. You're also going to mark out 1 inches down, just like this. You're also going to do the same thing here, 1 inch like this and 1 inch like this. And this is what helps us to get a curve, so that we know where to put it. So when you're going to take your curve ruler, or you're going to use your free hand, you're just going to trace it down to this point, to the 1 inches up from the hip point. So not into this place, so because you know our hip point is not sharp, so we're going to turn it like this so that you get the curve. And also you're also going to do the same thing for the back. You're going to trace it to enter to the top, not the hip point, to the top, 1 inches up from the hip point. So that's how we got this curve here. So let me show you how I got my pencil shape. You can see here is a pencil shape. So our hip measurement, I used 9.75. So we're going to take it to 1 inches in. To get a pencil skirt, you're also at the skirt length, you're going to be saying your hip measurement minus 1 inches. That's to get your pencil. That gives you 8.75. So, but because I've already drawn the line, all I just need to do, I just need to take it 1 inch in, 1 inch in, which is this, and I also do the same here, an inch in, that's this. Then I can use my straight ruler from the lower 1 inch down on the hip. I'm going to connect it down to this point, and I'm also going to do the same. Don't connect it from the hip so that you don't have something like this down. So you're going to create something like this, just like we have here. So that's that on that. And also then to get our skirts slants over here, I just had to take an inch down. I did it like this. I had to mark it like this, and I took 1 inch. I used my curve ruler and I traced it like this. Sometimes you can also tend to use your free hand and you curve it, but this applies only to the front, and same way as the zip allowance applies only to the back. So you only get to do this for the front part of your skirt. So now I'm going to be cutting this pattern. Let me show you how you're going to cut it out. So let's get started. Oh, let me drop this. This is my fabric scissors and this is my paper scissors. It's always good to have a separate scissors from your fabric and also for your paper, because sometimes the paper gets to make your scissors blunt. Alright, so this is our pattern. I've already cut it out. This is the front pattern. This is the front pattern, and also this is the back pattern. Just like you can see, here is the zip allowance for the back, and just like now you can always know that this is the front pattern. You can see here it's slanty, and here you have the zip allowance. So when you want to cut your fabric, you leave 0.5 all around here. Don't forget, here is going to be on fold, so we should write it out so that we don't get to forget. Here cuts on fold. Here should be on fold, so we shouldn't make that mistake. Here can also be on fold. Even if you cut it on fold, you're going to slash it out, or you can also cut it one by one, because you're still going to slash it for the zip allowance. So when you're going to cut your fabric, you can as well leave your 0.5 here for the sewing allowance and all of that. And here is our basic pencil skirt. Please like my video, share, and just to get more videos. Thank you.